All right. So here we are, Thursday, in our training session today. And today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different from the past couple of days. And this is kind of in response to the last two videos we did. We talked about discovering like what your ideal pricing is. So we went through, had that exercise where you figured out where your ideal price point is. And if you are kind of joining in, haven't seen that, check out that lesson. You can go over to doublestack.net/blog, and you'll see a list of all of the video replays, or you can just scroll down in this group here and you can see some of those replays as well. So whatever works best for you, check out that lesson on the being able to figure out what your ideal pricing is so that you can hit the income goals that you really want. So like if you're in it to make $5,000 to $10,000 per month through your business, what price do you need to charge in order to be able to hit that goal, with keeping in mind what how much work it's actually possible to do, and how many clients, how many leads you want to be working with, that kind of stuff. Check that out. And then last session we talked about okay, now that you know what that price point is, how do you convey the value? Like, how do you get your clients to pay more? Like, what's the secret to winning these high ticket clients? So that's that was kind of what we talked about yesterday. And then the combination of those two things together really began to bring up some interesting conversations, some interesting questions. And the real heart of it was, how do you make the shift? Like, what's the plan? Like, what's the step-by-step plan you can go forward with that's going to be able to get you to the results that you're really looking for? Like, what's the secret sauce, so to speak? And so, people are asking me, like, just give me the tips. Tell me what it is that I need to do to start doing this. And I kind of began to feel like the underlying assumption was that everybody felt like I knew some sort of a magic bullet answer, that like you just do this one thing and now suddenly your clients are going to see the value of what you're offering and everything's going to be so much better. But the real truth of the matter is, there is no such magic bullet. I don't have it, you don't have it, nobody has it. There's no quick fix to this kind of a shift. What I've been talking about, and really the heart of everything that we've been doing, is really underscoring the fact that all of what we used to think of as web design, WordPress consulting, that whole market is fading away really quickly, especially over the last 6 to 12, maybe 18 months. There's been dramatic changes in the WordPress ecosystem and the web design world, and web freelancing, web consulting. All of that has changed really, really quickly. And what's happened is it's left everybody kind of confused as to what to do, because a lot of times they're out there, they're going to business networking meetings, they're emailing clients, they're talking to clients, they're just getting themselves out there, and what used to be working is no longer really working. Like, they used to offer projects, but now the price points for those projects are getting rejected, or they send emails out and people are ignoring the emails altogether. Or a lot of times people say, Lee, I've had this great conversation with a client. They were really, really interested. They liked everything we were talking about. They didn't sign the contract right on the spot, but they said they'd get back to me. And then of course, they didn't get back to me. And so what do I do about that? It seems like everybody's saying, I don't have the money for it right now. It's a great idea. I know I need this kind of stuff, but let's talk about it later. And so they're pushing things off. And eventually what that means is, people that were doing web design, web consulting, they're not getting the kinds of work that they really need. And then on top of that, there's people that I talk to that have their primary lead flow coming in from like ad agencies or larger firms that kind of send overflow work. And they're not getting that work either. And the problem with that is, a lot of times these ad agents, in fact, I used to do that for like back, between like 2002 to maybe 2005 or so. I used to do a lot of that kind of work where I would work really closely with direct marketing firms, ad agencies, and kind of just do their overflow work. And but and that was pretty successful up until fairly recently. But now what's happening is people are really bringing all of that kind of work in-house and not sending the overflow work to web developers outside of their business. And instead, they're training their graphic designers how to do the kind of web stuff. And so and then on top of that, there's Wix and Weebly and Squarespace and all these other do-it-yourself builders are out there now, so that business owners can really generate their own websites. And so what happens is when you're out there putting a proposal together, making an offer, and you say, hey, it's $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, something in that, around the $1,000 price point, what's happening is, business owners are thinking, you know what, I really do want those types of things, but you know what, I can get it for like half the price. Like if I go on to Fiverr or Upwork, I can really, get the same kind of results for a lot cheaper than $800 to $1,200. Or they might even be thinking like my daughter's piano teacher is a perfect example. She was thinking that she wanted a website, so she actually just built it herself. She spent a weekend, kind of figured it all out. She knew what she wanted to say, and she just needed help getting it online. And so rather than hiring someone to do it, she actually used one of these do-it-yourself site builders. I think she's got her site on Wix, and so and it looks great. There's nothing the matter with it. But the problem is, if you're out there offering these types of solutions and you're getting these negative results, most of the time what happens is people will then double down and work harder at it, or lower their prices, or spend more hours, or say, I got to take on some additional really cheap work now to really build up my portfolio, so that in the future things, everybody will see what great work I can do, and then I can get the kinds of higher paying clients later. And what I'm trying to tell you now is it's not about that. It doesn't work that way. The problem is everything is drying up with this older approach to selling websites, to putting websites online. Even if you're doing like, graphic design, brand identity, responsive design, even like SEO packages and things like that, when you sell them and promote them and market yourself as someone who can do these types of services, it's really, really hard to get clients to understand what that means, because there's people using the same kind of words that you're using, but they're doing it for like half or less, the price of what you're charging. And, like I get emails all of the time from people who are saying, I'll do, SEO work for you for $20 an hour or something like that. And so, business owners get those kinds of messages all of the time. And so what I'm here to say is if that's what you're doing, and you're feeling like this is kind of the cycle that you're in, then, usually two things happen. One of two things. Either people will double down and do it harder and then eventually burn out, or they'll just say, hey, it doesn't work, I give up. And so either way, the end result is not getting, not really breaking out of the cycle, not really being able to, to get through to the other side. And so all of that is to say that the consulting world, when it comes to web design, WordPress consulting, digital media marketing, all of those types of things, has dramatically changed, and it's really hard to do something about it when you're in this old mindset of trying to sell these generic technical services, whatever those services may be. But what you need to do is you need to make this shift. And the shift is, and this is kind of what we were talking about on Tuesday. The shift is like how do you get yourself to a new perspective in the eyes of your clients and in your own eyes, so that you're above the noise, right? So how do you rise above the noise so that people see that you're different? And the answer is to focus on the results and not the actual implementation of the results. So not focusing on the technical skills and not focusing on how many pages a website is, or the steps that you take to get the results. And when I talk about results, I'm talking about helping your clients get more calls, get more leads, maybe introducing additional revenue streams, helping them get the kinds of increase their bottom line and get their business growing based on the kinds of things that you do online. Some of that stuff will happen on their website. Sometimes social media is involved. There's a bunch of different things that you can do online. But the point is, rather than focus on how you implement all of that stuff, work with your client to focus on the results that you can deliver because you're doing all that stuff. So here's the good news. The good news is the things that you currently know and are capable of doing are still very valuable things. So this is not a fear tactic scare kind of video. I'm entirely against that type of marketing or whatever. What I'm saying is, you don't have to be afraid that everything that you know is now useless. That's like, that's ridiculous. People need the kinds of services that you want, even really dry stuff like WordPress hosting and maintenance plans, which, everybody needs it. You can do it. You should offer it. You should include it in your offering. But you can't just sell WordPress hosting and maintenance plans or care packages or whatever, because nobody actually cares about the care package. In fact, I did a whole session, a whole training session specifically about how to deliver WordPress care packages that your clients actually care about. And the bottom line is people generally don't care at all about WordPress security, maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean stop doing it. What it means is include that along with the things that do matter, so that you can get like a high ticket retainer that's going to scale your business. So that kind of leads to kind of the conclusion of what we're talking about. The bottom line is the big change is that websites and digital media marketing and digital media services and all of those types of things are feeling really overpriced in the eyes of your clients, because they can get the implementation of those types of things for like half the price now that they used to be able to before, or maybe even less. And so if you're offering that at the same price as you used to a year or two ago, that's why people aren't buying it. And the underlying reason behind all of that is everyone knows that when you launch a website with 5 pages and a contact form, and even if it's beautiful and responsive and all the other things, if there's nobody there to really help drive those outcomes that your clients are really counting on you for, if nobody's doing that stuff on an ongoing basis, then everyone knows simply launching the website isn't actually going to do anything for them. You know it, I know it, your client knows it, everybody knows it, and that's why your client's not willing to pay high ticket prices for things that don't generate a lot of results for them. That's the downward pressure. But the solution is to make that shift. So how do you adapt? So how do you make the shift from selling these low ticket offers with a high ticket price into actually selling a premium service that commands a premium price? And the answer, like we were just talking about, is you need to take the skills that you currently have and structure them in a way that's actually going to drive results for your clients. So what combination of the skills that you currently have and that you could, that we could even work together on developing, what combination of skills can you put together into packages that you can offer to your clients? So that means figuring out who you actually want to work with, and how do you extract the right clients from that market, and what pricing can you put on those types of services, and how can you structure that in a way that's going to not only enable you to charge a really nice price for setting up the online platform, but also how you can structure all of that in a way so that you can keep working with your client on an ongoing basis for like a retainer that's worth like $500 to $1,000 per month. What kind of stuff can you do for that? And so that's really the shift, and it's hard to make the shift. That's one of the main thing that I really wanted to get across today, is making that kind of a shift is a difficult thing to do, because a lot of times you kind of ask yourself, who is it that I really want to be serving, and what kinds of services can I put together? And there's like this really meaningful mental shift from thinking about how can I get just rock star status with the technical skills that I have, into how can I deploy those technical skills in a way that really makes a difference for the clients I want to work with. So and then of course pricing comes into play. Like what kind of pricing can you put on that, and how do you structure those high value retainers, and how can I change the way I present myself so that my clients realize that I'm not just selling websites anymore, I'm actually in it for them. And then as an umbrella over all of that, how do you do it in a way that's not like pushy, and you're not just like beating on your clients to force them to like work with you, and instead you're serving them. That's like a really big thing that is one of the fundamental the foundation really of everything that I've done for doing right now, and everything that I've done in the past, is what can I do that's going to serve the people that I work with at a deeper, more meaningful level that's really going to drive an impact. That's the answer right there. And if that's your heart too, like if that's really what you want to do, and most of the people that I talk to, that's probably you too. Most of the people that I talk to really want to make an impact, not only for themselves, but also for the clients that they're working with, but they're feeling stuck in how to do it, because what used to work doesn't work anymore. And we just talked about all of the things that have changed with regard to web design and WordPress consulting. And everybody recognizes the changes, but it's really hard to make that shift. And what I'm saying is, like, if we were, like, I work with a bunch of people to help them make this change, and it's a very successful thing, but it takes a lot of work. It's not a magic bullet. And so I really wanted to make sure everyone understands that what I'm talking about here, it's not just a simple, you flip the switch and now all of a sudden, it's sunshine and lollipops. It's actually, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of mental work, mindset work, like to change the way that you view the type of business that you are, so that you're not a WordPress business anymore. Like, you don't offer custom themes, custom plugins, hosting plans, maintenance plans, care packages. You don't offer that kind of stuff anymore. Now you're a business development company, like a business growth consultant, and you're powering the results with WordPress. And when you make that kind of it's a full inversion. And when you make that shift, the really cool thing about it is now, individual people like you and me, we can compete with full-blown ad agencies, because the things that used to be hard aren't hard anymore. So you don't have to build custom themes, and there's plugins that do all sorts of things, and the issues that used to be there with hosting and the things that used to make care packages valuable are now automated. So like all of the things that it used to take people to do, you don't need to do that anymore. And so all the tools are just sitting right there. All you need to do is pick up the tools that you want to be working with, combine them into offers that matter for the clients that you want to work with, and then continue to crank the gears on that, month after month after month with your client. And that's going to be better for you, because now you got this high ticket offer with high value retainers. It's better for your clients, because they're actually getting the kind of results they're really counting on you for. They're reaching their audiences that they otherwise wouldn't be reaching. They're working with more people, and they're working with people at a deeper level. So it's better for them. It's better for their clients too, because now their clients are finding them, and they wouldn't be doing that had it not been for you helping them really cultivate their online business strategy. And again, you're powering all of those results with the kinds of skills you already know. And and then adding to them a little bit. So for example, copywriting, and maybe some email marketing stuff or whatever. I mean, there's all different kinds of skills that you might need that we can work on to really polish up. But the essence of it all is the mental shift from just selling generic technical services. No one is going to buy the generic technical services anymore, because those services are so cheap. And not only are they cheap, but they don't drive results. Like, just having a website or having a social media account doesn't actually drive results. And so, so all of that is to say that, yeah, it absolutely takes a lot of work. You have to put effort into it. You have to work really hard to really understand your clients, and to understand how you can help and how you can implement the set of tools that in a way that matters for them. And if you do that, that's what elevates you over everyone else. That's how you rise above the noise, because most people aren't doing that. Most people are still stuck thinking through, I got to be better at CSS. I got to get my JavaScript skills up. I got to get my skills. And they keep adding all of these skills. And the bottom line is, you can't sell the skills at those high ticket rates when you're working so what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about getting a job at an agency. I'm talking about running your own business as a business development consultant and powering those results with the WordPress ecosystem. And so if that sounds like the kind of thing that you want to be doing, let's talk about that and get you there. Because if you're going to be working hard, and most of the people I talk to work freaking really hard. They burn themselves out. They work so hard. And if that sounds like you, if you want to be working hard, make it count. Make sure that when you're doing some work, you're actually getting, making the progress that you want to be making and seeing the results that you want to be seeing, rather than just repeating the same things over and over, kind of stuck in the hamster wheel. Because the bottom line is, that old approach to web design and WordPress consulting, it's like you're milking a dry cow, so to speak. I mean, you just can't get more out of it, or it's like the end of the toothpaste. It's like you just can't squeeze any more out. No matter how hard you work, eventually it's just not coming out. But what you really need is you need a new tube of toothpaste, right? You need to change into a new approach, a new way of thinking things through. And so if that sounds like you and you want some help talking about these types of things, then I'm here to help with that, because I know, in my own life, like I would never, there's no way that I would be doing this Facebook Live training session, or, helping the people that I'm helping, or running my business, or working with the WordPress consulting clients that I have. There's no way in the world I would ever be doing that right now had it not been for the mentors and the mastermind groups and the people that have really helped me get there. You just can't do this sort of stuff by yourself because you're trying to think through all of these changes and the money's tight right now. And so you can't spend all this time with trial and error and trying to just figure it out on your own, but you have to have the grit and the determination to do it. The missing component, though, is the direction. You got to have the direction. You have to make this shift. So you're from moving from a WordPress business to a business development firm that powers results with WordPress. And if you want help talking about that, for example, like how do you uncover your ideal market? So you're not getting these like cheap people that are nitpicky clients that want to change fonts and pictures and all this other stuff, even though you're giving them an awesome deal. Like how do you find clients that you love working with? And on top of that, how do you discover the ideal pricing for those clients? Like we were just talking about, what combination of skills can you use from what you already know, plus what we can work on together, so that you can offer the kinds of results that your clients are really looking for. And then lastly, how do you do that in a way that enables you to really build some recurring revenue into your business? Because that is really what you need. So if you don't take anything else really away from this, one of the main things is you can't scale your business to $5,000 to $10,000 per month when you're selling individual websites without any recurring business. And so Jamie's asking, what does a business dev firm actually do? Yeah, and so this is kind of what I'm talking about. You actually still do the same types of things, right? So you still build websites and you still do graphic design and branding design and and various forms of marketing and those types of things. You still do the kinds of things that you know how to do. The difference is the purpose for why you're doing it. And so it really involves this mental shift, and which is what I was really trying to underscore a few minutes ago. The mental shift is you don't just go to a client and say, hey, tell me what you want your website to do, or tell me how many pages you want, or what kind of sitemap do you have, or send me some links to some websites that you like, and we'll mimic some of those same features for your website too, or all of this, or tell me your budget and I'll tell you what I can do. All of those questions put the burden of the business development strategy on your client. And that's the big problem, because your client doesn't really know what they want. They're involved with landscaping or an HVAC company or a restaurant or a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or, whatever it is that they do. I work with a lot of doctors in the functional medicine arena. And so they're really good at helping people feel better. They're not very good at understanding what they can do with regard to their, their online presence. And so what I'm saying is, you have to shift into thinking about how you can really help the clients that you want to work with. And then what combination of those skills can you deploy to achieve those types of outcomes for your clients? And then, how can you do that in a way that you can keep working with your client on an ongoing basis, continuing to drive those results? Because that is a fundamental thing that it takes. You can't just put a website out there and have it run on autopilot for very long. It won't work. And so all of that is to say, if you want help really thinking this through and figuring out, your market and your pricing and the combination of services that you can offer, and you don't want to be alone trying to sort all this stuff out, especially when the money's tight and you got to get things going now and desperation is setting in and you need some help, then let's talk about it. And so I offer to do that for free. So if this is the kind of stuff that you want to talk about, let's get on the phone for like 45 minutes and we'll go through like your market and your lead flow and what kind of income goals you have and what kind of pricing you need to get to put in place to hit that, and what kind of stuff that you can, how can you get some recurring revenue going? All of those types of things are things that we can talk about. And then, hey, if you want to work together after that, I can help you implement that sort of stuff in your business. That's something we can talk about. If you don't want that, that's totally fine too. But still, let's talk about this stuff so that if you're going to be working hard, you're making it count. You're not just, repeating the same kinds of things over and over and over again, kind of stuck in this old mindset where you're just trying to squeeze the toothpaste out of the empty tube and you're sweating over it and nothing is coming out. Nothing's happening. You're not getting the results you want. So let's talk about how you can make that shift. And if you head over to doublestack.net/call, then you'll see my schedule show up there. and you can pick a time, and we'll get on the phone for 45 minutes and talk. We could do it today. We could do it tomorrow. You'll see, over the next, 2 or 3 days, I've got my calendar open, and you can pick a time in the next 2 or 3 days that really works, and we can get in there and really talk about this stuff, and see what really matters. After you pick a time, you'll see a little form where you can, put in your website and, some information about who you're working with, what kind of clients you like, what kind of projects you like working on. And so that way, when we get on the phone, I'll be primed and ready to really help with, as much as I possibly can during that time. And again, it's a totally free thing. It's a no obligation thing. I'm in it to help you get the kind of results that you're looking for. I know there's a ton of people out there that are really struggling right now to figure out, what can they do to really get their business off the ground. And, I do a lot of WordCamps. I did a WooConf presentation, and, every time I go out there and, talk to people, people come up to me and say, hey, what can I do? How can I get this kind of help? And, and I can't just send people to, a website or whatever to get some lessons, because it's not about learning how to do more things. It's not about learning how to write CSS better or whatever, because that's not really what the problem is. The problem is that mental shift from being a WordPress business to being this kind of business development company that powers the results with WordPress. So anyway, all that is to say, if this is really resonating with you, if you feel like you're kind of in this situation where you're not really getting the kind of results out of your business that you want, that clients aren't really resonating with you, you're trying to, make these offers, and that they're awesome offers, but it's just not connecting with your clients, that's the kind of thing we can talk about. It's a no obligation. We get in there for 45 minutes. It's a free call, and we'll uncover some stuff on your business, and I think you'll find it to be really, really valuable. I know that you can even see some of the folks that I've talked to in the past have made some comments that are on the website too, so you can see that it really, honest to goodness, it's a no pressure situation. So anyway, all that is to say, head over to doublestack.net/call, pick a time, and I'll do the best that I can to really help you get some clarity on where you want to be going with your business. So if that sounds good, awesome. Here's a high five for the weekend. Boop. And we'll connect up again on Tuesday. We do these training sessions here twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Even if it's just to give a high five and say hello, it's great to know who's here and how I can help. So that'll be awesome. And I hope that we get on the phone too and talk about this stuff. So awesome, guys, and talk to you soon. One last high five for the weekend. Boop. And we'll see you again soon.